Welcome back to Get Down to Business. I'm thrilled to be joined by a returning guest, the resident scholar with the Institute for Policy Innovation in Dallas, Merrill Matthews. Merrill, welcome to the program. You have said that the U.S. has become energy independent to such an extent that the world's seventh largest oil-producing country and founding member of OPEC doesn't rattle the global supply chain. That is good news because our recent tensions between U.S. and Iran have some people very concerned. Welcome to the program. What say you?
Well, thank you for having me. Yes, it's an amazing development that nobody would have thought of not long ago. But back when we had tensions with Iran back in 2011, 2012, they were threatening to close down the Strait of Hormuz. I suspect some of your audience will remember. And gas prices shot up to about $4 a gallon. They threatened here not long ago that they might do that. I think that was in the fall. We've had some ongoing conflicts with Iran, and I just actually went out and got gas just a few minutes ago, and it's about as low as I've seen it in a long time. So because of the fracking boom in the U.S. and our ability to be able to produce both crude oil and natural gas, the tensions in the Middle East just do not shake world markets like they used to. We are, in fact, the Energy Information Administration said just announced last week that in November was our third consecutive month of exporting. We actually were a net exporter of oil. We exported more than we imported, and because of our energy, we're reaching energy independence now, and maybe even energy dominance.
Very, very interesting. Energy liberation is essentially defeating the Iranian gas spikes, I guess it would be the headline over here. So a question that our listeners...
I like that term.
Well, a question that people are asking right now is, with that in mind, why should we care about Middle East affairs any longer?
Well, it's a good point because about a third of the world's oil supply shifts through the Persian Gulf and through the Strait of Hormuz, but that affects other countries, not so much us. And to the extent that we can supply natural gas and crude oil to our allies, even Israel has gotten to where it is. I think it's a natural gas exporter now, isn't it? I mean, they've got some large natural gas supplies. So we still want the area to be peaceful and stable. It's not right now. But what they can't do is they can't hold it over our heads. Back in the Arab oil embargo in '73, because of our support for the state of Israel, OPEC and the Middle East countries decided they were going to turn off the spigot for us, and we saw exploding prices and gasoline lines. And now we just don't have that. So we're not compelled to have to get involved there. We do want stability, but we don't have to do it because of oil.
Interesting. So what do you say is the best public policy to ensure that we're never again dependent on foreign countries to supply our energy that has substantial national defense, foreign policy considerations?
It's a very good question. I think two things. Number one, natural gas had never been blocked, the export of natural gas, but the Obama administration slow-walked most of the applications to create LNG, liquefied natural gas terminals. That's been accelerated now, so we are now doing well there. President Trump is trying to open up other areas. I'm not sure all the companies need them right now, but being able to have access to them. But the end of the oil of our export embargo that had been on us until 2015, when they ended that, and the Republicans did that, they allowed the renewable energy credits for wind and solar to continue in order to be able to get an end to that ability to export oil. That's created a global market for us, and now if some place is experiencing tension, we might be able, if We've got other places we can't ship to. With a global market, we can ship to almost anybody. I think that encourages producers to keep producing in the United States, which means quantities stay high, prices stay low for us, and they have a place to sell their product if we can't use it all. So I think that is absolutely the right place to be right now.
I'm chatting with Merrill Matthews, the resident scholar at the Institute for Policy Innovation. And Merrill, we don't have a lot of time, but I talk with business owners all the time, and we always say you never depend on one client. What I keep hearing from you is never depend on one country too much. I do want to make sure we talk about the sort of the topic of the day, which is coronavirus. And right now, there's a lot of talk about quarantines. What impact does that have on the subjects we've been talking about oil, but also economy in general?
Right, and that has pushed down the prices of oil and natural gas. The good thing about the U.S. Producers is many of them can begin to scale back because it's individuals. It's not a country. Whereas Russia has, I think, roughly 40% of its of the government income is from oil and gas revenue, and they need that to continue with their mischief out there. Our independent producers can sort of cut back a little bit. It may put a strain on them, but you don't create the kinds of problems. So we are much more flexible, and that's good. When you have a crisis like you have in China, you have the ability to be able to cut back or else sell in other places. So I think both of those are huge advantages that we have now that we wouldn't have had 5 years ago.
Well, Merrill, we're going to have to leave it there. Merrill Matthews, Institute for Policy Innovation. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the insight. We'll be back and get down to business in just a minute.